Welcome to a new daily top AskReddit video. Today's topic:
what is a red flag to see in someone's home? No hand soap in the bathroom. I lived in a 10-person house in college. We had 2 bathrooms. It sort of naturally split into girls' and guys' bathrooms, except for me, who used the girls'. One night we're drinking and a girl ends up using the guys' bathroom because the other was taken. She comes back and says, "Damn, you guys must use a ton of soap when you wash your hands." Everyone looked confused. What? She said she used the bathroom like a week or 2 ago and it was out of hand soap. She just used it and it's out again. You could see it dawn on everyone's faces. Carrot carrot no carrot carrot dawn carrot carrot on carrot carrot their carrot carrot hands carrot carrot though. When I lived with a bunch of other dudes, I kept rebuying toilet paper and noticed none of the other roommates were. So, I just started keeping it in my closet instead and taking a roll to the bathroom when I needed to. Visiting ladies were not enthused at the surprise, but I always offered them a roll, after they found out how gross the other guys were. No hand soap and no hand towels. Drives me insane and reminds me you can't eat at everyone's house. I did some real estate photography on a home. It was a mass state trooper. It was disturbing, a nice neighborhood, a nice home, clean and well maintained. Kids and wife photos decorating the walls and end tables. But I started noticing holes punched into walls, some of them plastered and repaired, some of them fresh. Doors that had been splintered at the bottom from being kicked in. A couple doors that had padlocks on them that had been ripped out. There were just signs of rage everywhere I looked. It was disturbing and I felt bad for the family. All of this sounds in line with what I'd imagine a state trooper's home to look like. I toured a home for sale that was clearly owned by a CA state trooper once. General disrepair in a nice neighborhood and lots of aggressive death, Grim Reaper related art, plaques everywhere. Made me uncomfortable AF. Dirty litter boxes if they have cats, and I mean filthy. Dirty litter boxes if they don't have cats would be even more alarming. Or they have 1 litter box and 10 cats. True story from when I helped someone move. These are the same type of people who complain when their cats start peeing and shitting everywhere but the box. Like, dude, do you want to use a public toilet overflowing with shit and piss? ? That's also a red flag. Each cat should have their own litter box. Or even if they don't, only 1 for 10 cats is bordering on cruelty. I change the bathroom towels in our guest bathroom every Friday. One Friday I told my son to go wipe up the urine he left on the seat and floor, and then watched this imposter of my DNA wipe the urine with a hand towel and hang it back up, in front of me. I've never wanted to disown a relative more in my life. I saw my mill mop the floors on Christmas after dinner and then proceed to mop the kitchen table with the same floor mop. Like, I could get if you had a swifter wet mop and started with the table, but, yeah, that cannot be unseen. Hold up, the outrage is she's moping the table after moping the floor. Because I have questions about moping the table, at all. Regardless of order, people are out there moping tables. There was a guy who posted on our male living space who has 3 eBay prints above his bed. Now I thought this was a troll, but I found it. eBay. Not just eBay posters above the bed, but all throughout the house. And those dear taxidermy location flag location flag location flag. No sheets on their bed, but clearly they sleep on it. Along with dirty pillows with no cover as well. No cleaning supplies. Although I agree with the idea, in my house a guest wouldn't really see them, except for the toilet brush. All cleaning supplies live behind doors, and as they're dedicated cupboards I don't open them unless I'm cleaning. Crashy neighbor's dog died in a kennel, probably from starvation. They ignored the body until well after rigor set in, and then they couldn't get it out of the cage because the limbs wouldn't bend. So they just left it in there, in the house, surrounded by piles of garbage. Their 10-year-old eventually asked other neighborhood adults for help because the parents wouldn't do anything about it. So, dead dog rotting in a cage is my red flag. This was horrendous to read. MLM inventory for the business, or they buy a lot of MLM stuff. Minus a normal amount of Tupperware. Wait, what is a normal amount of Tupperware? Because I've seen some people with a lot of it, some of it the older good stuff that was passed down to them. Well, the normal amount is however many boxes you have plus 50 lids. When they let their pets poop and pee in the house. Bonus if they let their kids sleep in a room that is essentially a massive litter box. My BF was a contractor for Spectrum, and he would constantly tell me about houses he would go into where people just let the dogs shit in the basement. I really don't want to believe this is as common as it is. My mom worked at a cable company and the installers saw crazy stuff. Dog, cat shit everywhere. Homes with no running water but had cable. One poor guy actually found a dead body. He did call the cops. Imagine allowing the cable guy in knowing there a dead body in your house. Question mark. Some people shouldn't be allowed to be responsible for another living being. Holes punched in the wall. No thanks, lol. One time I did a tumble on my bed and put a hole in the drywall with my butt. I couldn't be asked to fix it, so it remained there behind a poster for years. Cold sweat smile. Also once my mom threw a potato through another wall. My overall point being, sometimes it's not a punched hole in the wall, and also drywall kinda sucks. So it was literally your butthole. Lol, yeah, I did that once at work, trying to run some cables in the ceiling and fell off the ladder. Boop. Butthole right in the wall. They did the same thing and covered it up with a picture. When their pets' water bowls are empty. Monsters. My wife doesn't abide this. Whenever we're at someone's house, she'll just pick up the water bowl, wash it, and refill it for the critters if needed. Your wife is a saint. This is me but with pets' eye boogers. Could you imagine not having the dexterity to get those things yourself, and how awful that would be? I've never met an animal that was ungrateful for my boogie services. My dogs probably think I'd just like to randomly stab them in their eye corners. Tears of joy. My dog knows, clean your eyes, and slinks over to us when we say it. She acts afraid at first but then ends up wanting us to pet her eyes. Weirdo. It's me. I'm the monster. I'm trying to prevent my dog from slobbering it all over you. Right, my dog has just gulped down 3 bowls of water and is going to come belch it up on the rug, so no, he doesn't get any more water right now. We took him to the vet as a puppy and he's not diabetic, just a dummy. When they don't do basic preparation for a pre-planned guest coming over. For example, there's no toilet paper, they don't offer you anything to drink, house is really messy. I went to someone's house for a D&D session once and she had her dirty underwear on my chair. Not one person in the group thought it was weird that I had to move them. That was the last time I ever played with or spoke to them. Large political flags on the wall. I don't care what your political affiliations are, if you are that obsessed with it that you feel the need to hang a huge flag in your living room to announce them, that's a no from me. Exceptions are made for those with giant flags for the United Federation of Planets. I can definitely hang with most nerds, lol. The flag of the Klingon Empire is red, and I would like to see it in someone's home. I was in college and we put dry erase boards on our dorm doors. I drew a Klingon insignia on my board. The guy next to me drew a Starfleet insignia. The guy across the hall drew the Romulan insignia, which was impressive. Best was when a guy drew the Bajoran symbol and I went by one night, erased it and drew the Cardassian symbol. Best was when a guy drew the Bajoran symbol and I went by one night, erased it and drew the Cardassian symbol. Never in my life have I had to stop and consider what a nerdy chuckle might sound like, but I suspect this had just elicited one from me. My best friend collected all sorts of pointy objects, swords, axes, you name it, he either had it or wanted it. Tons of them mounted everywhere. We were both huge Trekkies, and I found a full-size Batarath that he hadn't been able to acquire, paid a little more than what I liked, but hey, this is my best bud, I couldn't pass it up. Gave it to him a few days later the next time I went to visit. He was over the moon. Of course, you brought glory to his house. His Batarath slays all the threats to Picard. Nazi flag. It is literally red. When I was in college I took this class called Exceptional People and you had to volunteer with diverse people. Me and this frat dude were assigned an older paraplegic guy in a wheelchair. We'd go over there once a week and help out around his house. He had so much Nazi memorabilia and was a real asshole. We would refer to him as Adolf Krippler. Crack pipe, cats but no litter box, liquor bottles are the only decoration you can find, barely any furniture. I live in England. So many people have no litter box because they just let their cats shit in their neighbors' gardens. My sister-in-law was complaining to us about how her cats kept peeing and pooping in the house at night. This went on for weeks before I asked how often she was cleaning their litter box. They didn't have one. Their cats were messing all over their house and their children's things and it had never occurred to them to get a box. They were just elderly cats who didn't always have the energy to get outside. The furniture thing can be a misconception, at least in my opinion, based on personal experience. My wife and I moved during COVID and bought a house. We had been living in an apartment outside a major city for 10+ years. We invited our new neighbors over to meet them and introduce us. We're super respectful and nice people. Made a nice dinner for everyone. We didn't have furniture or anything yet, just a folding table and chairs. One of the individuals said something along the lines of, "Oh, you're those kind of people." We went to the furniture store literally within days of moving in and placed an order, but it wasn't able to be delivered for about a month. Our apartment was fully furnished and we couldn't take it with us, so we had to buy everything brand new. Let's just say I don't like that woman. My other neighbors are nice but don't judge a book by its cover. Dish rack was in the sink and had black mold on it. They put clean dishes on it to dry. I was horrified. They also just put water in the baby bottles and let them soak and used them. Never actually washing the bottles. Horrified. Had dinner with my friend's family. They had a bottle of something called vino on the table, and they each took turns passing it around and adding it to their food. I asked my friend and he said it was anti-fart drops. He later told me that his family farts a whole ton, so the vino mitigates the grossness. I couldn't shake that he has a weird fart family and never went back. I guess that's not really a red flag. They were just sweet people with fart problems. This is the most wholesome one cause they're being considerate. Less than 3. I'm dying laughing at this. Never seen anyone casually pass it around or apply it directly to food. XD. What was the food? Beans on beans with a side of beans, I'm guessing. I mean, I've used vino before, but I've never put it on my food. There are certain foods I know that kick up ye olde fart box, so I do take it to address that, but just blanket having it on the food all the time. Insanity. I've never been so torn than deciding if I would go into a pub named ye olde fart box.